It's a £100 million TV deal for every single team in the top division of 3 competing nations: Denmark, Norway and Sweden. It's the Scandinavian standoff. It's a triple threat match of a TV deal experiment simulation thing. And we're going to go into the future and see which nation comes out on top. Let's go. And here we go, straight into it, straight onto the screen. There's your TV deal, £100 million, and that is Rosenborg, who are currently first in the Norwegian Premier League. We started, these seasons start differently. I think we must have started Sweden. No, Sweden are already halfway through as well. I've put comments, I put a comment on every single team, so when we're in Europe, we can do a little bit of a breakdown, and we will be keeping score, ladies and gentlemen. We will be keeping score, or at least I will. Now, I'll put it on the screen in the edit, or I'll keep mentioning it. I'll write it down or something. Right, so we started in Denmark. The league hasn't started. And as mentioned, yeah, every single team has got a £100 million TV deal. So if we have a look here, once again, they go £100 million. So the £100 million every single season is for all the teams in the top division of those nations. And we haven't gone to any lower leagues for the TV deal, because that would be a lot, wouldn't it? It would be a lot to sort of keep on top of, because it's going to be a lot anyway, in reality, to keep on top of all these. But we're in 2023, so without further ado, we're going to go forward 25 years to 2048, just see what's happening. So anyway, in terms of the leagues, so the Swedish Premier Division is currently 24th. If we look at the competition reputation, the Norwegian Premier League is 15th, the Danish League is 17th, and the Swedish League, as mentioned, is 24th. I'm going to write this down. And the nations, so Norway are 43rd, Denmark are 19th, and Sweden are 23rd. So we're going to see, well, the national teams might not do as well, but the leagues should improve in their reputation. And in terms of the Swedish Premier League, so if we have a quick look at, say, stadiums, for example, 1 in 50, quite a lot in the teens and under 10. Only a couple of stadiums that are really actually of a decent size. Population of 10 million in Sweden as well, just for everyone's info. In terms of Norway, the population of Norway is 5.42. And if we go to Norwegian Premier League and have a quick look at the stadiums over there, well, you've got Rosenborg at the top and 21,000. Everyone else is in the teens and under 10. So it's not great in terms of stadium size in Norway. And then Denmark, again, just over 5 million, just under 6 million, actually, their population. And they have stadiums, a couple of them slightly bigger, one nearly 30,000, one nearly 40,000. But then, again, the rest are in the tens, teens, and one is below 10,000. So the majority of the stadiums are in the teens, in the thousands of capacity, which will increase with all this money that's coming in. Absolutely it will. All the facilities will increase. The competition reputation will increase, but they will probably be overspending on players that are a bit meh to begin with. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward 25 years first of all, just to 2048 quickly, and we're going to stop in briefly, see what's going on. Okay, so we're looking here, and as you can see, we're again halfway through the season in Sweden, so we'll start off in Sweden, but they're up in 9th, and their league was the lowest on 24th, and as you can see, in terms of the competition reputation, well, it's 8th, 9th, and 10th, so all 3 of them are nestled together, competing nicely. We've had some stadiums be built. Oh, we have. AIK have built the Friends Arena in 2012. Oh, was that already there then? Malmo Stadium in 2039 was built, fine. And the Hammarby Stadium in 2045. The Friends Arena must have already been there for AIK. My apologies. There's the past winners. It's been shared around quite a bit, quite nicely. Elfsborg, Malmo, Hammarby, Häcken, Gothenburg, AIK. Fair play. Going to have a quick look at Denmark then. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, so FC Midtjylland have won the league most recently, and they've won it a lot, as well as Copenhagen, to be fair. And in terms of stadiums, we have had an increase in stadiums. The Thomasberg Park for FC Midtjylland was built in 2041. I'm assuming he's a club legend. He is a club legend, is Thomasberg. He was there for 9 years. Then he went to Belgium for a couple, and then Napoli for 7. So he did all right for them. He was also a player at Midtjylland as well for 8 years. So yeah, there you go. Sadly, there will be no Ralph Watch here today because we're already in 2048. He will be long gone, will old Ralphie boy. So yeah, sorry. Anyway, in terms of the Norwegian Premier League, again, if we look over the previous winners, well, it's been all about Rosenborg, hasn't it? The stadiums, has anyone's increased? Rosenborg, I think, were in the 20,000, so they have increased their capacity. Yeah, They have increased their capacity, but that's about it. Rosenborg have won the most out of anyone so far domestically, but what about in Europe? But we will go and have a look at that in a moment, because firstly, Denmark as a nation, 12th. They were in 19th. Thiago Motta's in charge. Sweden are up in 30th. Sweden are actually down in 30th. They were up in 23rd last time we were here, so that's disappointing. Then Norway in 17th. Well, their national team was in 43rd last time, so they've increased massively as well. In terms of the competitions, as we said, the competition reputation has increased, and they are 8th, 9th and 10th. And I think in another 25 years, they will be breathing down the necks of top 5. In terms of the Conference League, then we have had first blood to Denmark with Copenhagen. Then Brann have won one for Norway. We're not counting runners up. Elfsborg tie it all up at 1 apiece for all of them at Sweden, and then AGF for Denmark with Norman Williamson in charge, and Hammarby for Sweden. So it's 2 for Denmark, 2 for Sweden, and 1 for Norway in the first 25 years. In terms of the Europa League, well, there's just FC Midtjylland for Denmark, and he's probably a bit early for anyone to win Champions League, but we'll go and have a quick look anyway. And as predicted, it's just the usual suspects there, to be honest. No one has won a Champions League. Fair enough. Well, we're going to check in on the international accolades at the very end, but as FC Midtjylland are the most successful team up to this point, we're going to have a quick look at their team. And as you can see here, £145,000 a week for a player that is at 155. Do you know what? That's not too bad. That is the going rate for a good player. And look at this, Liam Villan on £23,000 a week, and he's pretty good at 149, potentially 169. I mean, will he get there? He's 23 years old. He probably won't get there now. No, he might actually. Yeah, we see it in experiments all the time, people developing from here. But they are not on loads. I mean, Juan Jose Liberos at 29 is on £125,000 a week, but the bank has not been broken. They are not overspending horrifically. They're overspending a bit, but when you've got as much money as they probably do have, you know, it is what it is. Nothing majorly groundbreaking. Some big transfer there. £67 million from Manchester United to FC Midtjylland. We're just having a quick cycle through some of the transfers. I want to see if there's any huge money deals, but there isn't at the moment. And I think it'll take a while for those things to come into effect. Maybe another 25 years. So what we're going to do now, we've gone about 150 years in total. If I've gone 25. If I jump 50 from here, I'll be 75 in the future. And then the final jump will be 75 years, which I think is probably about right. 3 stop-ins. I think another 25 years is going to be much of a muchness. So shall we do that? We'll go 50 years. Let's go to 2098 and see how things are moving. Okay, so we've come to Norway. We're in 2098 and they are down in 12th in terms of their current league. The national team is in 13th, so they're not doing too bad, but the league is in 12th. Quick look over the stadiums, and as you can see, everyone's moved into the 30s, 40s, and 1 in the 50s. The Edvard, why do I do this to myself? The Edvard Chachajan Arena. I've nailed that. I love the team Odd is just playing the Odd Stadium. Oh, the Odd Stadium. That's brilliant. Stale Solbakken Park for HamKam. But Norway down in 12th is not ideal. And as you can see here, Sweden are up in 8th. So they've obviously done something all right. And Denmark are actually in 7th. Looking at the national team for Sweden, they're down in 19th. And they've climbed to 19th. I do apologise from last time. Quick look at the stadiums in Sweden. Yeah, loads in the 60s, 50s, and 1 in the 70s now. AIK is still in the Friends Arena at 60,000. They haven't improved their stadium whatsoever. A lot of other people have. Speaking of AIK, though, they are on a bit of a winning spree, winning quite a few trophies recently. Gothenburg have won a few. It has been shared around a bit. You have teams that come through with little eras of domination, and then they just seem to fall away. It's very interesting. In Denmark, then, they are, I mean, FC Midtjylland, you can still see them up there. Brøndby have won it this year. No, Midtjylland have won it for some reason. Because of how this all transpires and works out. I don't understand it, but you know, it's not for me to understand it, is it really? I've gone preliminary phase, championship group. I mean, there you go. There's a championship group. They finished top. Fine. Midtjylland, oh God, I mean, saying Midtjylland have done quite well. I mean, Midtjylland have absolutely dominated. We'll probably check in on Midtjylland more often, more than anyone else. I mean, they have got the Sebastian Orellana Stadium, 79,000. I mean, he was a regen who played for them for 12 years. Fine, just a player for them then. In terms of the senior squad, I mean, again, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually really underwhelmed. Potential ability in the 150s. And again, I mean, look at this. This guy's on £170,000 a week. He's absolutely stealing a living there. They're not paying as much as I would have expected them to, though, to be honest. They've got 44 million in the bank. What's happened? Still got the TV deal rocking and rolling in. And as you can see, the transfers are starting to creep up. They're now in the 30s and 40 millions. as standard. There's one, there's 50 odd, but that was out. Internal, Torgeir Henriksen from Sarpsborg to AGF. Sarpsborg's actually in Norway, so we've gone cross rivalry nations for some of these transfers. Nothing really massively interesting to speak home about at this moment in time. Of course, we were last here in 2048, and it took a few years, but then Molde for Norway and Rosenborg 2 years later. 2 more for Norway, followed by 1 for Denmark for Copenhagen, and then odd for Norway. So 3 for Norway and 1 for Denmark in the first 15 years. And as we scroll up, then we do have a bit of a Swedish resurgence as AIK grab one back for Sweden, as do Gothenburg. For those of you keeping score at this moment in time, it is 4 for Sweden, 4 for Norway, and 3 for Denmark. Then Copenhagen come in and even it all up in conference leagues, making it 4 apiece. But that's wow. They've only got them beating Hammarby in the final, so Sweden could have pulled clear, and they were beaten by Denmark, and it became all square. But then Häcken for Sweden, managed by Hakon Ovrik. He probably wasn't there at the time. He definitely wasn't there at the time. Anyway, so Häcken, then Gothenburg, so that's 2 more for Sweden. That makes it 6-4-4 then, and then AGF for Denmark, making it 6-5-4, and then VL the following season beating Häcken in the final, making it 6 for Denmark as well. Then Vålerenga absolutely keeping Norway in with a shout, getting their 5th Conference League of the experiment. Then Gothenburg get another, making it 7 for Sweden. And then most recently, Elfsborg for Sweden, making it 8. So in terms of European trophies, in terms of the Conference League, we are looking at Sweden on 8, Norway on 5, and Denmark on 6. And of course, in 2048, we saw Brighton had won the Europa League, and FC Midtjylland were the only team to have won one from the 3 nations. Well, Malmo and Brøndby have come runner-up, but of course, the runner-up trophies do not count in this experiment, and unfortunately, it doesn't feel like much is happening. Hammarby have come runner-up again, as have Elfsborg, but that's it. No more winners, so we've just got the 1 Europa League winner so far, and I'm going to quickly squiz down the Champions League previous winners, but of course there is no one. There has been no one whatsoever. Look at this. In the last 30 years, Dortmund have come runner-up in the Champions League 5 times. Never won it. So at the end of this juncture, we're halfway through. 75 years in. With about 154 years of the total experiment. So we're basically halfway in. And at the moment, Sweden domestically are the winners. So that being said, I'm surprised Sweden are behind Denmark, to be honest, because they are winning more Conference League trophies. Who's been the most successful? I mean, at the moment it's AIK. So we have a quick look at their squad. Look at this. They've got some good potential here. Good potential. Look at this 17-year-old Noah Villander. Centre mid. Lovely. Nice little polygon. And I'm quite impressed. To be perfectly honest. Yeah. Not spending, this guy, I was going to say they're not overspending massively. You got £275,000 a week here. He's not that good. Oh, 375 here for Sado Balde. 144 current ability. He's nowhere near that level. Disappointing. You've got £165 million in the bank. In terms of transfers, we had some big ones. I mean, look at this. Häcken to Chelsea. Alexander Bjerk's solid. Gothenburg spent $47.5 million on Andres Araujo, who is no longer with us. Oh, that was 10 years ago. Right, let's go and be more recent. Yeah, so reasonably decent sized transfer fees. I mean, this one in Gilson Cabral, he came into the club from was it Man United now? He's left. Oh god, they were playing him and they sold him for half the price. Why? I don't know. It's baffling, isn't it? But there we go. There's a competition reputation. 7th, 8th, and 12th. We've got 75-ish more years. We're going to jump through the entirety of that and round this experiment off in style. We'll check in on international tournaments. Might flick down some Ballon d'Ors, and I might go back and have a look at who some of these players were. If there's someone who's a bit Messi-esque and won loads, we'll probably go and have a look. But I might go back and have a quick look at Ballon d'Ors just to see who's won more Ballon d'Ors, Denmark, Sweden or Norway, even though it's nothing to do with youth intake and youth development. It's all to do with money. See what they've done with it. Let's go forward then to 2170 something. And while I'm doing that, just subscribe if you can. Late plea for subscribers, but yeah, thanks. Yeah, awful plug. So we're here in Norway, and now Norway are the top team. Top league, 5th. The national team is in 5th as well. Wow, all about the 5s. Sweden, as a national team, are 6th. Don't tell me Denmark are 7th or 4th. 18th. Boo. Denmark are actually down in 10th as well, so they've got the worst national team and the worst league. In terms of the past winners, it's been Brøndby and FC Midtjylland literally for the last 70 years. In 2176, by the way, so 153 years into the future. So FC Copenhagen won 1 in the last 50 odd years. Randers are up there as well, but boring. I mean, some of these players, look at, here we go. John Villanueva, 20-year-old left back, 193 potential. Well, we're never going to see how good he gets because he's never going to do another day of this simulation. We're in May 2176 as well, so the seasons aren't even going to be finished for half the teams. I don't even know if the Champions League will be finished this season. If it's not, and one of the teams is in the final, you better believe we're going to simulate through. But I digress. Stadiums, Denmark, 120,000. The Sebastian Orellana Park has been expanded. The Kasper Kopenhagel Arena. I don't know why I said arena. I ballsed up the word stadium. I said Kasper Kopenhagel perfectly, and I said stadium as arena. What a tit. 97,000. Still some of them only in the teens, which is actually a bit weird, isn't it? Why have you not improved your stadium? And these guys, they've got the 100 million TV deal. They've got good facilities. They've only got a 15,000 capacity stadium, so I don't understand why. Anyway, Brøndby and Midtjylland are the only ones that are going to have won anything for them. In terms of the Swedish Premier League, as I say, in 8th. And this has been passed around a bit. Djurgårdens, Gothenburg, and Malmo are the big hitters. Kalmar with a few. Elfsborg, Häcken, Varnamo, Degerfors, IF, and Kalmar most recently. Djurgårdens, I mentioned them, possibly. Stadium, none over 80,000. 3 in the high 70s, 2 in the low, 4 in the high 70s, 1 in the low 70s, a couple in the high 60s, one of them 69,000. Nice. But all of them over at least 20,000. Even Trelleborgs, who are actually not part of this experiment as such. Norrköping, they've got fantastic facilities as well, so that's impressive. That's very impressive. And of course, as mentioned, Norway up in 5th. Very, very good. And as you can see, the last few seasons have been passed back and forth between Viking and Rosenborg, and then it's been shared around quite a lot, which is probably why the league's doing well, because the hopes aren't all rested on a couple of teams. If you've got a few teams in Europe, they could be cleaning up some Champions Leagues, Europa Leagues, and Conference Leagues all in the same seasons. If you've got a few decent teams. Molde and Viking have probably been the most successful, I'd say. Looking at that as a snapshot, you disagree? Fair enough. Let me know in the comments down below who you think's actually done better at this moment in time, but we'll probably be looking at that in a little bit more depth in a few minutes. Well, we look at the stadiums. 101,000 at the Alf Erik Dahl Højlund Stadium for Molde. And again, loads up. Everyone's over 45,000 except Honfoss. But of course, they are a lower league side that were not part of this experiment and getting that money. Everyone else in the league has got all that money. Who's not? Valerenga got relegated. Fine. Okay, so the University Craiova from Romania. So the final of the Conference League hasn't happened, but no one's in it from these two nations. And of course, Elfsborg won it last time. Sweden 8, Norway 5, Denmark 6. And Hammarby get another one for Sweden, bringing them close to double figures. But Molde for Norway draw level with Denmark, but Häcken for Sweden take the double figures. 10-6-6, and it's Häcken again, making it 11. And Viel for Denmark, which means they're on 7. Häcken again. How many Conference Leagues? They won 4. Well, we've seen them all then, haven't we? 21, 22. Is that all? God, that's how far back we are still. Oh, but nothing. Oh, here we go. HamKam for Norway. Once again, drawing level with Denmark. Stabæk, Norway. Strømsgodset, Norway. 2 more for Norway. Now they're in touching distance of double figures. And Stabæk take it, making it 10. Strømsgodset making it 11. Sarpsborg 12. The level with Sweden. Midtjylland for Denmark. They're now on 8. And that's it. So the final scores for Europa Conference Leagues are as follows. Sweden 12. Norway 12, Denmark 8. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay, the Europa League. We're on the profile. No one's won it in the last few years, so there's no spoilers there, but there is a final. It's Molde. So we're going to have to simulate through to the 22nd of May, 3 days' time. We're going to have to do that. However, we are going to get through all the European trophies first, because if that could be the one that ticks over the winner, we might go and watch it, attend the match. Why not? Anyway, FC Copenhagen running up there to Brighton. Brighton have won the Europa League so many times. 9 Europa Leagues Brighton have won. Fair play to them. Molde have got a Europa League under their belts, making it 1 for Norway. Drawing level with Denmark. Molde again, that's their second Europa League and the third in 27-28, beating Brighton, perennial winners Brighton in the final. And FC Midtjylland keeping Denmark in it with their second of the experiment. So it's Molde versus Midtjylland at the moment for the battle of the Europa Leagues. And here come Viking. It's now 4 for Norway. 5, 6, 7. 7 for Norway in the Europa League. Well, Norway, I think, have won it. Same conference leagues as Sweden, whereas they got 7 Europa Leagues and Sweden got none. Denmark, two Europa Leagues with only 8 conference leagues, so they're behind Norway on both. Champions Leagues can only save them. Oh, an AIK runner-up in the Champions League against AC Milan. Unfortunately, I think that might be as good as it gets. We're scrolling through and we're seeing absolutely nothing whatsoever. And we haven't seen anything whatsoever. 3 in a row for Atletico Madrid, but no Champions Leagues at all. So Norway have won it. But let's who's in the final? Madrid, Real and AC. So we're going to go through 3 days just to see if Molde can win another Europa League. Only lost 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund. Thomas Vestal with the goal, bringing it back to 2-1 from 2-0 down, but they didn't win it, unfortunately, for Molde. But they've done very well. Probably been the most successful team in the experiment up to this point, so fair play to them. Now we're looking at international success, and I can't scroll back any further. So, spoiler alert on the page already. Denmark have won the Euros in 2052, the first nation to do it. Anyone else? I mean, Denmark have come run up here to Germany. Norway back-to-back. Norway beating Denmark in 2104 as well, so that's all the sweeter. Scotland beating Sweden. The Sweden run up there to Scotland. Could have had 3 in a row for our nations here. Spain went on a bit of a tear. England beating Scotland in 21-24. I bet there was riots that day. Norway again. That's 3 for Norway, 1 for Denmark, nothing for Sweden. A 4th for Norway, beating Switzerland. Croatia beating Belgium there. Croatia beating England as well. England beating Serbia. Sweden runner up again, most recently to Spain. So Sweden have done sod all in this experiment. Really been poor. Norway won more European football championships. Now the World Cup. Well, as you can see here, we've got Denmark in 3rd in 2038, the first team to do anything. Nigeria in 2026. Ukraine beating England in 2058. Lovely stuff. Runners up twice in a row for England. England also run up here to Belgium. Surprised England haven't won it by 2066. They normally have. Here we go, 2070 they've popped up. No one's done anything though. I can't see. Sweden run up to Spain there, sorry. And Norway run up to Germany, so no one's winning the World Cups here. Sweden have actually won a World Cup against Norway in 21-14. Well, that throws a cat amongst the pigeons, doesn't it? Because for me, the World Cup's the biggest trophy. I don't think it is enough to dethrone Norway. Sweden run up there as well. I don't think it's enough to dethrone Norway. I mean, Norway have won a World Cup as well, 21-38. Another run up for Sweden. Perennial runners up Sweden all over the place. Look at this. Croatia again. Chile. 3 for Spain there in 4. So Norway have won, as of Sweden, 1 World Cup each. Norway runners up twice as well, right near the end. So Denmark came 3rd a few times. It is what it is. So it's conclusive, isn't it? Norway have won the experiment. And we're going to quickly just whip through these players. There we go. Alexander Nilsson, Swedish, straight off the bat. In his peak, 169. Meh, boring. Pedro Sousa, Portuguese. Here we go. Can't even pronounce. He's one of the worst members. This guy won the Ballon d'Or, and now he's one of the worst managers in history. And we're back over 50 years now, and Peter Norin is the next one who's from the 3 nations to have won anything. Again, nothing's happening. I'm still scrolling back, as you can see. I'm going absolutely Garrity through these here. There was a Norwegian. Morgan Haraldsson, playing for Manchester United. Can't be bothered to go back and just look at Morgan, just because. But there's been very few Ballon d'Or winners. Now, I'm sure there'll be a lot more if we did this with max youth rating. And in this triple threat, I think we might do. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to have a look at Norway, who were the winners of today's experiment. Won loads of Euros, 4 Euros, 1 World Cup, 7 Europa Leagues, 12 conference leagues. I think we'll do this with max youth rating at some point in the near future as well, because it's a lot of fun doing these sort of versus ones, and this triple threat one is really good. I've got another versus coming soon on max youth rating, which is the Republic of Ireland versus Northern Ireland, so hopefully that should be a lot of fun too. But for these kind of experiments, if there's things that I've not covered that you would like me to, do let me know in the comments down below, because there's so much to cover and there's so much you can cover. There's so many things that you're going to miss out on, because it's not viable to get everything into a video. So yeah, do let me know if there's things I've missed that you think I should have covered. Other than that though, hope you had a good time. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Take good care of yourselves, gang, and I'll see you soon.